I heard that you had a motorcycle as a kid.
I did.
And I had a motorcycle as a kid.
You did?
I used to steal the motorcycle and go off on my own. I wasn't supposed to. I was like too young.
Where were you? Where did you live?
I lived in Virginia, but we had a farm.
Oh, nice.
And we used to ride motorcycles. My older sister was the one who was like really into motorcycles. And you're an older.
I am the oldest of 4.
And I am.
You're the second.
I'm the second.
You're the second.
Yeah.
You're the second child. That's so interesting. So funny.
Tell me about motorcycles.
I had a little Yamaha from literally, I feel like from before I even had a bicycle. I like had a little motorcycle.
This wasn't a play motorcycle.
No.
Okay,
it was real.
that.
Tiniest motorcycle you've ever seen. And I used to love it. And, you know, my dad used to do motocross. So it was just a thing. It was like a bonding thing, I think, that he was very frustrated. He didn't have boys. And so that was his way of, and I was very tomboyish. Like I was very much like, I think I felt that yearning from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fully like a boy. I was like a tough little girl.
I love that.
You know? And I would go out. Like I remember in the house that I grew up in, all my neighbors were boys. Like all the kids in my neighborhood were boys that were around my age. And I was like, I would hang out with them. We would have like this little like neighborhood gang that we would, you know, go out in the summers and like play all day. And I was the only girl.
Oh, really?
And I always kind of just loved boy energy because I was very adventurous.
Me too.
And I was just kind of like climbing trees and like riding motorcycles. And like it was, you know, doing all sorts of things. But there was also a part of me that was like, I'm the queen.
Oh.
You know?
Ooh.
Because I always liked boys. I was a tomboy, but I was also like,
And you're like, I get to hang out with all the boys?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. But anyway, yes, motorcycles. Then I graduated into another motorcycle, like a bigger one, and my sister got the little one. I actually think that motorcycle is still around.
Oh my God.
And now my cousin's daughter is riding it.
That's so cute.
Yeah. It's like been in the family for forever.
Oh, it's like a family motorcycle.
It's a
family motorcycle legacy.
Yeah, because I think like motorcycles last forever. I don't know, but like
I have no clue.
Yeah, it's been around.
We're like motorcycles last forever.
Yeah, maybe. Good job, Yamaha. Shout out. But anyway, yeah, I loved it. I was such a little tomboy.
Do you feel like that like influenced the rest of your life, or do you feel like you went the other way and got like extra girly?
I did because of Limited 2.
Oh, Limited 2.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Like it was Claire's and Limited 2.
There was the Limited and then Limited 2.
But it wasn't Limited 2 original. It was first, and then it became the Limited.
Oh, did it?
I think it was that
Oh, you're
way.
like schooling me.
Yeah.
It was Limited TOO.
Yes. Limited 2.
Okay, for people who don't know what that is, it was this store that was basically like kind of like the Gap.
But like
girlier.
Cooler.
Yes.
I feel like cooler.
I almost feel like this shirt would have been a limited shirt. Yes.
Limited too.
Actually, your dress might have been a limited dress.
But like it was, for like young girls.
Yeah.
And in my hometown in Monterrey, Mexico,
yeah,
everybody was wearing Limited 2 in 5th grade. Like I think 5th grade, up until 4th grade, I was like a Nike, like basketball short wearing girl, like super tomboy, like loose t-shirts. I played basketball my whole life. So I was like, loose t-shirts, basketball sneakers, long shorts. And then 5th grade, it was like, oh, all of a sudden I have to be a girl. Limited 2, booty shorts. Do you remember?
Yes. And those skirts?
The skirts.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I had so many of those skirts.
All the shirts had like cheesy sayings on them with glitter.
Like a little like brooch.
Do you remember ones that had Velcro and you could put messages on them?
Oh my God, you had those?
Yes.
I might have been like a little bit, I'm a little older, I think, than you. So I think I saw them, but I was like beyond that at
Good
that
for
point.
you.
Yeah. I had like grown out of it.
No, I didn't.
I love that you were wearing those.
I was wearing, my entire wardrobe for years was Limited 2. Because it was a thing. I come from a town. It's not a town. It's a city, but it feels like a town,
Yeah.
When someone says that something is cool, everybody has to get that thing.
Okay. Oh, well.
And Limited 2 was that for a while.
Yeah.
And Skechers.
And Skechers. Ooh, that's a good one.
Skechers, then Puma. It's,
There were like
crazy.
levels.
There were levels.
I love the levels.
Yeah.
So
it was fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we had very like similar like upbringings as far as our fashion.
You know, Monterrey is very close to the border.
Yeah.
It's, 2 hours south of the border. So I feel like I grew up very influenced by American everything.
And
American
you went
culture
to an American school, right?
I went to an American school.
Yeah. What prompted your parents to put you in this school?
English.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it was a private school, very good, high level of like education. Our teachers were almost all American when I was in the school.
Okay.
I think now they're like more evenly balanced, like half American, half Mexican.
Oh, that's
they're like,
nice.
They're giving lots of jobs to alumni, which makes sense. When I was there, it was mostly American Canadian teachers. So every class was in English.
Oh, wow.
Even like Mexican government, we took in English. The only class that was in Spanish was Spanish.
Oh, wait, you took Spanish?
I took Spanish.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
You
take English.
I mean,
don't
yeah,
you?
I guess that's true. I didn't even really think of it that way.
It's the same thing.
You weren't taking as a language. You were taking like
It's
the
both.
grammatical. Oh.
It becomes both. So
Okay.
you, when you're younger, you learn like, because, how do you say gramática y ortografía in English?
Yeah,
Grammar and do you have another thing? We have two in Spanish, gramática y ortografía, which is like, sentence construction.
Oh,
and then
no, we
also
just grammar.
Okay, well, all grammar, I guess, was when
grammar
you're young.
and vocabulary.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're young, they teach you the language because, we have accents and, the rules of the language and how to construct sentences and, speak Spanish better because we've been speaking English since we are 3 years old. So a lot of us were very Spanglish.
Yeah.
You grow up kind of
That's a
not
culture.
really knowing how to speak Spanish properly because you're speaking English for more than half of your day.
That's
Of your
wild.
waking day. So we did have Spanish. And then when you're older, in middle school, high school, it becomes like like Spanish literature, So
Yeah.
you're reading, books in Spanish.
That's
and
so
analyzing
interesting.
And all that. Yeah.
Did that like kind of mess with your identity at all? Or no? That was your identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I
Oh.
loved growing up, knowing both languages and feeling very confident in both languages. I actually felt less confident in Spanish for a while. I also think that English is an easier language than Spanish.
A lot of people would disagree with you, but yeah, I definitely think it is.
I think English is a more monosyllabic
Yes.
language and Spanish has like very big words. And so I think that my vocabulary is more expansive in English than it is in Spanish.
As she says, expansive. Do you think you're like a different person when you're speaking Spanish? Or
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. What's
think
your Spanish persona?
Well, it's not a persona per
I
se,
mean,
but
it's you.
it's me. But I do feel like I can hear my voice get higher when I'm speaking English. When I speak Spanish, it's lower, in a lower register. And I don't know why that is. It's kind of the phenomenon of like when you order something on the phone,
Yeah.
When you go like,
Hello.
hi, yeah. I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I, hi, can I order something to the room? I'm like, why am I up there? Like, why am I doing that? Why am I, So
I love that.
I feel like that happens a little bit with English and Spanish. I feel like my Spanish is lower because maybe it's more relaxed. It's my first language. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel different as I go lower in my English
and I feel
voice.
different.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because you went to an American school. Did people call you Melissa there? Because I know that's not really how you pronounce your name. It's Melissa, right?
Yes, Melissa. Yeah, people called me Melissa. My
So
teachers called me Melissa.
Are you comfortable with people calling you Melissa?
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer to call you what you want to be called.
Well, my name
It's Melissa.
is Melissa.
Yeah.
Because that's, how it's pronounced in Spanish. But to be fair, my mom did name me after her two favorite actresses, Melissa Sue Anderson and Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's who you're named after.
That's who I'm named after. So it's
That's
kind of
so
like, we literally made that connection like a few years ago where I was like, Mom, no wonder I'm an actress. You named me after your favorite actresses. Like she programmed me without even knowing.
Oh, I love that. So your name is Melissa.
My name is Melissa, and I'm not a person that will correct you.
Yeah.
If you're calling me Melissa, like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. But when I introduce myself, I say Melissa.
Melissa.
Because that's my name.
Who is Melissa Barrera?
girl.
Because I feel like people define, especially in the entertainment world, you're defined all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're defined by your roles or your work or what you've been doing, or you're just an actress or an actor.
Yeah.
But I'm curious who you think you are, or how you would want to present yourself.
That's, what's so funny, because in the last year and a half of my life, I had to ask myself that question. And this is something I think that everybody falls into. It's a trap of like, if you were to define yourself not in relation to anything, how would you define yourself? And then I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you, it's hard.
It is.
Like, oh, I'm
like, I'm a what?
Yeah. And I really, had to ask myself that question when I found that what I saw myself as was this successful actor. When I saw that potentially being taken away from me, I was like, who am I?
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Yeah.
If I'm not that. Like, if that were to end, if I no longer can act, who is Melissa,
Yeah.
And I was struggling with that. And it was really hard, because I was like, wow, my whole life I've actually given myself value off of my work, off of what I'm doing, off of how busy I am, off of how cool my next project is.
Yeah.
And I did think that maybe everybody kind of sees me as that.
Yeah.
Which then becomes like a whole identity crisis. Because then you're like, whoa, if I'm not that.
What am I?
Yeah, what am I? And I was like, will people even like me?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's that's kind of it screws with your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I realized was I'm so disciplined and so passionate about whatever I'm doing that it doesn't matter if they take this career that I've worked for, more than 15 years on, closer to 20.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, because whatever I set out to do next, I'm going to be successful at. Yeah. Like, I know that about myself.
I love that.
When I came to that, it kind of calmed me and it gave me peace, because I was like, honestly, I'm a good person. I'm fun. What do you call it?
Like resourceful?
Yes, I'm very resourceful. And so I can figure it out, whatever it is.
I mean, you also have gotten to a really high point in a career that is really hard to get to, so yes, you've achieved a lot, but if you can achieve in such a specific niche, then I think you can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome that you kind of like came back to that realization.
I'm glad that I had to think about that, because it just it took like a weight off of my shoulders, and it also kind of made me appreciate my skills and actually the things that I have going for me, that I've honed, that I've, worked for, and some that I just have naturally, that I was like given by the universe and by the education that my mom gave me. But it was
perspective. That's
definitely
a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
And, it's sad that it took kind of something really messed up.
Yeah.
People kind of coming at you for your own views, for you to have to like look at yourself that way. But I love that was what you took away from it, because that's such a silver lining to such a gray cloud.
Yeah. And it's all a choice of how you look at things, right? Because you can drown in a glass of water if you want. But I definitely, all the hardship and all the dark moments and the doubts and the questioning and everything has given me so much growth.
Yeah.
And so much awakening. I don't even know, like
Yeah.
I just kind of feel so much more connected to the world, to people, to my purpose in life.
Yeah. You find community in those
Yeah.
moments. You find like a lot of perspective and a lot of community.
Yeah.
And, we connected through, your speaking out and all of those things. I feel like, I don't know if there would be any other opportunity where we would have connected.
Right.
And there's so many people that I've found in this space.
Same.
I'm grateful for that. And I think a lot of people have seen that, like, for as much as they've lost, they've also gained so much.
Yeah.
You gain a lot.
Yeah. I all of a sudden got like a filter in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was able to see so much clearly. It's like I was walking through all these rooms with blinders on.
Wow.
And then I kind of took them off and now I'm seeing everything clearly. And now I'm getting to choose what rooms I go in.
Yeah.
And what rooms I don't go in. And sometimes the doors are closed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even want to go in that room. It's ugly. You know what I mean? So it's nice. And I do feel like I found such like beautiful friendships in all of this. And it's so much support from like so many people out there. And
People love you.
And I love them.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to thank you, Melissa, for coming on the show. And there's something that we do on the show.
Okay.
It's called The Seeds. That's why it's called The Seeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's this little, So
I love it.
It's based on something I do with my stepdaughter and my fiance.
Okay.
And when I go out of town, I do little like affirmations for them or little like tasks to do. And so we thought we would bring it here. And so I don't know, I know what's in there, but I don't know what you're going to get. So if you turn it, you're going to get a little seed. And just open it up and read it out loud. And it could be something we have to do. It could
like
be
a
an
fortune
affirmation.
cookie?
Yes,
Okay.
it's like a fortune cookie.
I love it. Okay. Let's see what it says. Rituals that ground you
Oh,
are sacred to you. Okay. I feel like rituals is such a broad word.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
do you have habits?
Yeah, I do have habits. I do like affirmations.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes I forget, in all honesty. But I like to, as soon as I wake up, I like to smile. And like
I just
say,
made a sad face, but that's so sweet.
Yeah, I like to smile and I like to say like, thank you for a wonderful day as soon as I wake up. Because it just kind of puts you in like a mood of like, today's going to be a great day. And I read somewhere, or I don't know where I heard someone say this, that like smiling will make you happy.
It has a physiological reaction.
Yeah.
My mom used to say that to me as
Very
a kid.
cool.
She'd say, you know what? Smile. It has
Yeah.
a physiological reaction.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So that's something that I do when I'm home in Austin, not when I'm working, because when I'm working, I think that life is so different and weird. But when I'm at home, I train a lot. I like, I like being very active. And so I train in the gym. I have a trainer and I do Pilates now newly. I just discovered it. And I was literally in Toronto for 5 months and I discovered
you
it there.
discovered Pilates in Canada?
Actually, Legree. Mega former.
Yeah.
I love it. I like to sweat.
Okay.
And so
That's
yoga
awesome.
and Pilates always sounded to me like I wasn't going to
No,
sweat.
you
You know what
do.
I mean? And you do. And
Yeah.
I'm shaking. But anyway, so I train a lot and I like to do like, I bought like the leg compression thing. So I like get on a couch and I put the things on for an hour. I just kind of like let that like a recovery thing that feels like such a relaxing moment. And I also like just sitting with my dogs in my backyard. They're like little lizards. They love to be in the sun. So every morning I like take them out and I just sit there with them for like 20 minutes.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Chihuahuas.
Oh my God, cute.
Rambo and Zeus, my babies.
Stop.
Yeah. And it's just a little thing in grounding. Like I take my socks off and I like put my feet on the grass and kind of feel
Touch grass.
Yeah. Feel the energy kind of coming in.
What's your
I'm into
sign?
Cancer.
Oh, I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo.
Are you Cancer? What
July 4th.
Cancer. Oh,
Yeah.
you're born on 4th of July.
I know, but I'm Mexican, okay? So it wasn't ever anything.
Yeah, but you went to
Now
an
it is.
American school. People
Yeah.
were probably like, woo!
Yeah, well, it was always, my birthday was always fireworks.
Yeah.
'cause
That's fun.
That was the thing. So I even made my parents get me fireworks on my birthdays sometimes because I was like, we got to get fireworks. It's fireworks day. But now I love it. Now that I live in the States, there's always a party.
Yeah.
So it's
that's so
it's nice.
fun.
There's
You
always
don't
a
think
plan.
you're not one of those people who like is annoyed that you're born on a holiday because it like takes away your thunder.
Oh, no, not at all. No.
So you're like a real Cancer. Because
Yeah.
I'm a Leo and that would really piss me off.
Oh, really? No. I'm actually not a huge birthday person.
Okay.
I'm not a huge, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's a normal day. And if I get to do something that I love on the day,
Yeah.
it's cool. I always try to if I'm at work, if I'm shooting something
Yeah.
on my birthday, I'm like, this is the best birthday ever.
Oh, I love
You know,
that.
I'm like, I love having birthdays on set. I love working because I believe in energy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about me that thinks that whatever you're doing on your birthday, you're kind of manifesting
Ooh.
for the rest of the year.
A lot of people think that about what they're doing on New Year's or who they're spending time with on
Girl,
New Year's.
you've never done the running with suitcases
On New Year's?
on New Year's?
No.
So that you travel a lot all year?
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of rituals in Mexico. I don't know.
Okay, see,
if-
rituals.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one. I don't know
so
anything.
in New Year's, we do a bunch of things in Mexico. Depending on what you want in the next year, you wear underwear, the color of that. So if you want love, you wear red. If you want money, you wear yellow. If you want to travel a lot, you have to get your suitcases, go outside your house on the street and run back and forth with the suitcase.
Oh my God, I'm doing that.
And then what else?
Did you do that a lot? Because you
yeah.
travel all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I did that a lot as a child, and I feel like I still am reaping the benefits of all the times that I ran in New Year's, because I don't do that anymore. But I do travel a lot. I feel very blessed. My mom still does it, though.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what color underwear did you wear to get?
I do double.
Yeah.
Well, I used to. Now
Yeah.
I have the love of my life, so it's
I
fine.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to talk about this
Yeah.
because you were on a TV show that seems completely wild. That's how you met your husband, right?
Yeah.
L'Academia, right?
L'Academia.
Okay, I
Like
can't
the
say
academy.
I said
Yeah.
it so American.
Yeah, yeah.
L'Academia.
L'Academia.
Tell me a little bit about that. I have to be honest. I watched some of the.
Oh, no.
Just you,
Oh, no.
just you singing. Not I
Oh,
don't.
no. No.
I had to.
It's so embarrassing.
No.
Because you know what? Wait, let me, in
Okay,
my
tell me.
defense.
Your defense.
So don't watch it because it's not a reflection of my talent.
She's defending her talent.
I'm defending. But you know what? It's really hard to sing when you cannot hear yourself.
Oh, you can't hear yourself.
No, when
Oh.
when the sound system
Yeah.
is not good.
Okay.
And you're asked to sing live. You cannot hear yourself. It's really hard to be on key, on time.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of threw us to the wolves, and that was a live show thing. And it was very traumatic because I went in, I had been at NYU studying musical theater.
Yeah.
I got into this really prestigious musical theater
Yeah.
program where they took, I don't know, there was 50 of us that got in.
Awesome.
In Tisch, and I was one of 3 international students in the program. Yeah, I want to say it was less than 5 of us. And one was British and one was Canadian. So,
You're
it's
so white representation.
Yeah, white representation. Anyway, so I was there. I was super confident in my skills. I was like, I'm a badass. I got in. I can sing. I was auditioning for things and getting really close to booking tours of Broadway shows and stuff
awesome.
like that. And then I'm home for a summer. I audition for the show. I get in and I'm like, cool, I'll do it. I'm always up for
Yes.
new experiences. So I was like, maybe this will be cool. I go in and then, the judges, because it's a reality show, they're really harsh.
Yeah.
And they destroyed me on that show. They destroyed me. And to be
Really?
fair, I wasn't being good on that show because between the nerves and I couldn't hear myself, and I'd never sang in a microphone
Yeah.
like that and used in-ears.
Oh,
And when
yeah.
the in-ears, when you have in-ears in your ears and they're not working, you actually, it's like you're in a vacuum. Like it's terrible. But so they destroyed me, and that really destroyed my confidence.
Oh, no.
It was really bad for like a few years. And then I started like slowly doing musical theater in Mexico again, and kind of like regaining my footing and my confidence and my talent. But I still, to this day, I have such PTSD of that like I won't ever sing. When people ask me to sing, I can't do it.
No, I wasn't going to ask you to sing.
Thank you.
The Seeds is available on Watermelon Plus, the home of stories that matter. Watermelon Plus is home to award-winning cinema from Palestine and beyond. The kind of stories that you can't find anywhere else. One of my favorite hidden gems is Miles from Nowhere. It's a hilarious comedy about a Muslim Kiwi. It's funny, romantic, and I watched the whole thing in one sitting. If we want to shift culture and change the way stories are told, we need to build our own power. If you believe in what I'm doing with Watermelon Pictures, the best way to support us is to subscribe today. Preserve the past, fuel the future with Watermelon Plus. I also, like, in this YouTube kind of deep dive, I went on.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
You have to tell me about Melissa y Sebastian.
Oh.
Because I think that was so... Do you hate that I'm asking you about this? Because I was like, this is so cute, and your voice is amazing, and there were so many videos, and they have millions and millions of views.
That was my like little era of being a pop star.
Was that before or after L'Academia?
After.
Okay.
Yeah, I got paired with this guy that had also come out of L'Academia, but from another season. And, you know, the network kind of like paired us together and made us into like this little duet.
It's like the making of the band.
Yeah, exactly. Because we looked good together or whatever. It was fun because I had never done anything like that. So like we recorded an album and we like toured the country and did like music festivals. And I realized very quickly that wasn't the life that I wanted. I was like, I'm not a rock star. I can't do these like driving from one city to another, barely sleeping, doing a concert, meet and greets, then going to partying with like the people that, you know, from the festival. And then I was like, I can't do this life. I can't. And then I went straight into soaps. Yeah, so I was just like, oh, I love acting. Let's just do that.
You did telenovelas for a while. How long were you doing that?
I did 4. So I guess 4 years. Yeah.
And that's like a really rigorous schedule, right?
I mean, I feel like it's gotten less with time because the industry changes and they try to like be more, they're trying to be more like TV shows than telenovelas. But the schedule when I was doing them was, you know, Monday through Saturday.
Wow.
Working, you know, upwards of 14 hours. No such thing as a turnaround.
Wow.
And we were shooting like 20 to 30 scenes a day.
Oh my God.
It was basically between the 2 units, 30 air minutes a day.
And you had to memorize all those lines?
And I memorized it all.
Oh, wow. That must have been kind of like a boot camp.
Yeah, it was. I feel like that's why it's so easy for me to memorize anything today because of that training. You have always, in soaps, you always have I don't know anymore because it's been so long.
Do you have a thing?
Yeah, you have the option of using a thing where... But it's
BTS. We didn't know. Hot take.
A chicharo. We call it a chicharo, which is a pea.
Yeah.
And so you have el apuntador, which is the name of the job of the person that does that, and he is reading everyone's lines.
Oh. So you can hear what they're going to say?
Everyone's lines.
Oh, wow.
And what he does is literally go like, Alana, hi, Melissa. Melissa, hi, Alana. And literally that's what you're hearing in your head. And some people, because they can't memorize their lines, they just rely on that. And it's super easy. If you know how to use it, it's super easy. You don't ever have to memorize anything.
That's kind of like that's like cheating.
It is cheating, but it's also an art.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a way of doing it right and there's a way of doing it wrong.
Okay.
Like you still have to like feel like you're present.
Yes.
And with someone's voice in your head, it's hard.
That's hard, yeah.
So I always opted for just memorizing everything because I didn't want a man's voice in my head.
So you didn't use your
No.
What was it? Chicharo.
Chicharo. When I was doing lead roles in telenovelas and I was actually like doing 30 scenes a day, I realized very quickly that I didn't want a man's voice telling me how to do my lines.
I like that.
So I was just like, I'll just memorize it.
Fuck the patriarchy. What was your favorite, like, unhinged? I'm sure all the plot lines were like unhinged.
Girl.
What was your favorite? What was like what is something that your character did that you were like, holy crap?
So many
Like,
things.
I'm just always like totally confused by soap opera plot lines. And I just think they're amazing. Like, how do they get away with it? Yeah.
They are amazing. I honestly, like, I remember my time doing soaps and I was having so much fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, for example, my first lead, Siempre Tuya Acapulco, which is like actually like a kind of famous soap and it's still playing.
Oh.
Like, it still plays in lots of places. I was this girl, this like small town, very humble, very poor girl who is like, walking along the forest. And all of a sudden there's a plane crash. Wait. All of a sudden there's a plane crash and this guy falls out of the sky.
Stop.
And I fall and I find him and I rescue him because he's beautiful.
Of course.
And he's blind and has amnesia. So we fall in love and get married in our little town because I am a humble girl and I don't care that he's blind.
And has amnesia.
So I'm like, I'm in love with you. We get married. And then literally the day after we get married, he remembers his life, but forgets our little stint of life. So he's like, what am I doing here? Let me go home. And I'm like, where's my husband? And so I go to the city to find him, but he doesn't remember who I am. And so I start working at his house as a maid. I'm not joking. I started working at his house as the maid.
So you can be closer to him?
So I can be closer to him.
Oh my God,
I think he feels bad for me. I think, what actually happens is that he runs over me. This is why I love soaps. I get to the city, I'm looking for him, and somehow in giant Mexico City, he runs over me.
Just you.
Yeah, just me. And then he takes me to the hospital. I wake up and he's there and I'm like, oh my God, you're here. And he's like, who are you? And I realize he doesn't remember me, but he's like, oh, how can I help you? And I was like, give me a job. So he puts me to work at his mom's house and I'm the maid. And obviously the mom loves me.
Oh, yeah.
And then he has a fiance that he was going to marry who is like the villain. And obviously he starts falling in love with me.
Of course.
Because
obviously.
I'm like the good girl and she's evil. And then there's another guy that comes into picture. I think I get transferred houses. I become a maid somewhere else. I become a maid at the house of a man who turns out to be my very wealthy father.
Oh.
So then,
of course,
I love,
like,
it's amazing. And then at some point I have a child, they kidnap him and I go crazy and I end up in like an insane asylum for like days, for like a month or two. And I go crazy because they took my child and I don't remember anything of who I am.
Did they kill you off or like when you left?
No. So it's not like in the US, how soaps in the US are never ending?
Yeah.
No, in Mexico, they're not like that. They end.
Oh.
It's like 7 months and you're done.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, they end. They end. We don't do the forever and ever growing up on screen thing, which I think I would go crazy. I don't think I'd be able to do that.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah.
And then your next thing after that was Vida? Or you did a bunch of stuff in between?
I did a bunch of stuff in Mexico.
Yeah. Okay.
Like after I did that crazy soap, I did another crazy soap where it was kind of the same. I was a poor girl, ends up, falling in love with a rich guy that was actually 20 years older than me. I was typecast. I was Cinderella, basically, in Mexico.
I love that.
Which, luckily in Mexico, Cinderella can look like me. I did 4 soaps and then I did like a bunch of stuff. I did theater. I did some, series. I did a couple of movies and I did like a really big Netflix show in Mexico that was like the first original Mexican Netflix show. Mm. And after that is when I came to the States and I did Vida.
I think Vida was like an interesting project because it was, the whole cast was Latin.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the crew was as well.
Yeah.
I think like amazing. It's like I don't know that it was one of the only, but it was definitely one of the first.
Yeah. There was
to do
nothing
that.
like it.
Yeah.
Obviously there'd been Latin shows before. East Los High had been there. And I think, I remember Devious Maids also had like a big Latin cast and was more like network.
I forgot about that.
But like, I think for like a prime show that was on Stars, that was like very also queer and like very R-rated and like dealing with a lot of like heavy subjects. There was nothing like it at the time. And it was pretty special. And we were critically acclaimed, even though not a lot of people watched it. But I still, to this day, like when I'm on the street, like people tell me that they love that show.
Really?
So it really means a lot to a lot of people.
That.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that it was probably you champion the idea of representation for the Latin community. Like, I think I've heard you speak about it a lot. I feel like it's also been quite important to your career. Do you feel like that was like something that you went into it feeling, or that it developed for you over time?
I never really thought about it until I was on Vida and I realized like, oh, wow, there's really like nothing like this. And like literally the entire Latin community is auditioning for this show because there isn't a lot for us out there. That's when it kind of like dawned on me how like big of a deal it was, how much my face being out there was going to mean for a lot of people and the responsibility that meant.
Yeah.
And so then I started, really educating myself about that and thinking like it's a responsibility, but also a gift and a privilege that I get to do that. And now how do I make sure that like my presence in the industry is helping my community?
Yeah.
Does
that drive you?
Yeah, it definitely drives me. I feel like even though I didn't think about it when I first thought about like moving to the US and trying out a career in Hollywood, I never thought about that aspect. I just kind of wanted to work and I wanted to do exciting projects and I wanted to, I never really thought of how hard it was going to be because of my identity.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it at all until I was like, get me auditions for this. And they were like, you can't go in for that because you're not from there. And I was like, what? I thought, what? I was like,
that's interesting.
Yeah. And so then I started to understand the real imposed limitations on myself, on so many others, that like you kind of get this lane and that's all that people ever want to like give you. And you kind of have to fight for more room. You have to fight for other things that, people not necessarily are looking for people that look like you for a role, but you got to kind of try and like knock on the door and be like, hey, I know you're not looking for me, but like, maybe would you mind? I'll just do it. And if you like it, maybe. So that's kind of what I tried to do. I'm kind of like,
no, I love that.
Hoping to gain more ground. Originally, when I went out for Scream, I knew that they were looking for a lot of different ethnicities, that they were open to casting this role. They weren't looking for a Latina. They were looking for anyone. They were seeing all types of actors for the role. And the big reason that I wanted to get that role so badly was because I knew that this character was going to have a family, and that if I got the role, then that meant more opportunities for other Latinos in the other roles.
That's amazing.
So that's the kind of thing that you think about.
That's a lot of pressure on yourself, though.
Yeah, I guess it is, but I still wanted the role.
Yeah, of course.
Like I was like, this is also me. Like if I lose out on it, I'll feel bad because that means that the other actresses that are Latina that are up for, the sister role or whatever are not going to get it because now they're going to go with either, a black actress or an Asian actress
Yeah.
or a white actress or whatever else they're looking at. But I still was like, I want the role.
Yeah.
So the pressure is always high.
Yeah. Yeah. You've kind of become like this genre queen. Like, do you love that? Do you hate that? Do you own that? Like, how does that feel? Because I feel like, you've had like a really solid mix of like musical and horror.
Yeah.
And do you feel kind of like constrained by it?
No.
Like if you were offered like every amazing horror role for the rest of your life, would you love that? I'm just curious, not to say that people want to try different things.
Yeah, I do. That's the thing. Like, it's not that like if it was that or nothing, like I'd take it, of course. Like, and I love horror. It's super fun. And there's so many great horror scripts. Like horror directors, I feel like are some of the most creative and like wild and like risk takers that are out there.
Yeah.
And as far as directors go, and I love that. But I also have never liked putting myself in a box of any kind. And I know that I have a lot of other skills that I want to stretch and I want to showcase and I want to like play with.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would get bored. I do get bored easily if I'm doing the same thing or the same genre, which is why I try to always go from one role into the next, and I need them to be like completely different.
Yeah. Oh,
and that's something that I've done a lot in my career, where I go into one and then I make sure the next one is very different, so that I don't fall into the trap of just doing the same thing
and being typecast.
Yeah.
Like, I only play this type of character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you've done, even though it's been genre, like the characters that you've played have been totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that completely.
Yeah.
I watched Abigail the other day.
Yeah.
That is a scary freaking movie.
You found it scary?
I thought it was scary.
I
think little kids.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right.
Kids in roles where they're like, I mean, obviously I wasn't like hiding under but it's kind of freaky. Like kids as any type of like scary character, I feel like freak you out like a lot more or freak me out.
That's true. For me.
Okay, well maybe I'm a pussy.
No, I just think it's so funny. Like, I think my threshold of like getting scared is skewed because I know so much of like what goes on behind the scenes. But like for me, the scariest movies are like anything exorcism related.
Oh yeah.
Because I grew up Catholic, so I'm like, I don't play with that. Like anything with like the devil and like summoning and like stuff like that, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't believe in those things.
My uncle was in The Exorcist, but he was he was an extra.
And did he tell you stories of
he
like
was at the
weird
bottom
shit?
of the stairs when she falls down the stairs?
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was like one of the extras at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, like freaky stuff was happening.
It always like you always hear weird, creepy stories of like behind the scenes on those sets.
Did you have any creepy stories?
No, because I've never done a movie like that, and I won't ever. Well, never say never.
No, what?
Never say never.
If you got offered a role like that, you would definitely. I mean, that would be awesome.
I actually got offered a really cool exorcism movie years back, and I said no.
Oh wow, you're that superstitious in that way?
Not superstitious. It's not superstition. Listen, I just think that shit is real. And why am I inviting
like
those spirits?
You don't want to summon
near
the spirits.
I feel I'm cool. I'm like, I have my little Virgencita here protecting, and I just don't want that.
You're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm good.
But I do love, horror movies, and I want to continue to do horror movies, but I'm also kind of wanting to branch out a little bit. I'm about to do a couple of comedies that I'm really excited to do.
Yeah, you're funny.
I like it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It feels so childish to like be silly.
Yeah.
And I want to like get into like physical comedy and all of that, because I just think it like really brings you into your body a lot more. And so, but I'm open to anything.
So, we talked a little bit about how you've kind of championed the Latin community and how like your roles have been about kind of trying to open up that opportunity. And I know that like with Vida, you probably got a little bit into speaking about the LGBTQ community. You've done something that not a lot of actors have done, which is kind of put themselves in a position where they are speaking about topics that not everyone needs to speak about or would be speaking about. Obviously, you spoke about Palestine.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if that's like something that came from your childhood, like what made you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that I feel very deeply. I've never liked bullies. I've never liked abuse or like mean people.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I was in a really amazing film festival in Austin called Connect Her.
Oh, I love Connect Her.
Okay. So,
yeah, I spoke there last year.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we have that in common.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
it amazing?
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's so inspiring. All these like young filmmakers telling these like so like important stories that are, from all over the world, from like 90 something countries. People are, these young filmmakers from 13 to 24 years old are submitting their shorts. And actually our grand prize winner was a Palestinian short. It was amazing. Afterwards in the reception, this woman came up to me and she was like, thank you so much for speaking up for us and, for standing your ground, because when we talk about it, it's like talking in a vacuum, because obviously we're going to be talking about it. So sometimes it takes someone from the outside to also stand up for us, for it to like become louder. And that really felt like, it really hit me, because it's true. It's like when you're defending yourself, it's you're you, right? Like it's obviously I'm going to defend myself, but when someone else joins your team and like starts to defend you, like that's when first, one, you feel safe, you feel heard, but also there's more chances of you making your case and like winning. So I do think that it's important for like other people to join the cause and to like speak up about it. Also because I do believe that we're all connected.
Yeah. You spoke up so early, and I remember like I was just like, oh, like hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
thanks.
thank you. It meant a lot. It means a lot. There's a lot of personal sacrifice that comes from it, but it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know on our end that you have a huge community now of people who will support and love everything you do and, come out for you for like in every possible way. So
I feel it.
And I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
of course.
You. Yeah.
I thought we could do some fun stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's a few things.
Okay.
One, I thought we could do some angel cards.
Ooh.
Do you like angel cards?
I've done it, I think, only once before. Yeah.
Like we can pull an angel card.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
I love it.
My sister always says, healed ancestors. She always wants like your healed ancestors, not just ancestors.
Yeah, healed.
Because you want the healed ones,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, oh, good point. So the healed ancestors will come to me and help me.
Okay.
Do you think I'm crazy?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Girl. You don't know me very well, but like I'm very witchy. So
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah,
Witchy vibes are fun.
This is not crazy
okay,
at all.
let's see what we find for you. That's for me, Lisa. This one. Oh, wild woman. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So I'm going to do the abridged version because these are usually really long.
Okay.
And we don't have like 2 hours, but if we did, we could get real deep.
Yeah.
When the wild woman dances into your reading, she reminds you of the essence of authenticity and freedom. Divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity, the wild woman holds up a mirror to your essential self, the true essence of who you are and who you're meant to become. Yes.
true self.
You're going to get everything you want.
Yes.
That's basically what it's saying. Okay, my turn. Here.
So
you
kind of do that, right?
Yeah. You feel what you think my essence is.
Your healed ancestors, calling on your healed ancestors. We invite them to lead us to the right card. Feels like this one wants to get out.
Oh, okay. What is it? Is it the same card?
That's crazy.
That's so weird. Actually, that's so weird. Really?
That's wild. That's wild. We're wild women.
Oh my God.
I
Twins.
mean, it does feel like we have a lot in common.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Like, should we be best friends or
Yeah,
what? Okay.
I'm down.
I love that. I got something for you.
Okay.
It's part of this series because I think your kind of Mexican American story is really important for people.
Mhm.
Like, it's not only interesting, but it's also inspiring. I think a lot of people are, especially right now, really nervous to talk about their, immigration or their stories. And I just think that like how successful you've been, how empowered you are, is just really inspiring for people. And I'm inspired by you. So I just thought I would give you this book. It's called. It's part of this series called Race to the Truth, and it's the Mexican American story. I know that you don't need to know it because you've lived it, but I just thought it was
I love it.
cute.
Thank
And,
you.
yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm going to read it.
It's actually really interesting because there's stuff in there that even though, obviously you've lived this story,
Yeah.
there's like history in there that I thought was so interesting. And I thought I knew a lot about it, but I definitely didn't know like anything.
I love it because like these books that are, telling us a real version of a people's history are like the kinds of books that are being like banned and, and disappeared right now. So I think it's really cool. So all of you go out and buy it before it's banned.
I love that.
Borderlands.
This
and
wasn't
the
an ad
Mexican
for that
Ameri-
book, but
No.
I love that.
But,
it's
like,
true though.
yeah.
I mean, that's the reality is that all of these things are being erased. And so I just love that, like, I always say that obviously for me, existence is resistance and existence is important. And I think as well for you, your existence and being loud and proud about it and making spaces for it, I think is really important just in this industry alone, but in the world,
Yeah.
really important. So we're going to do our speed round.
Okay, cool.
And so it's
I'm
a bunch
nervous.
of
I'm so nervous already. I feel like I was always like a straight A student,
not
like super like
I'm not gonna be like, what's the
obsessed
capital
with like doing
of?
well. Yes. So I'm like, what is this test?
These are just
I
like,
didn't prepare. I didn't study. Okay.
these are just like random questions. Okay, so you have 3 younger sisters.
Yes.
What's the most big sister energy thing about you? Like what gives big sister?
I feel like I'm always like looking out for my sisters. I'm always like, what do you need? What can I get you?
That was so
And
wholesome.
My second sister
Give us the real tea.
would have a different tale of that because she'd be like, you always think that you're my mom and like you always want to like tell me what to do. We still have, I'm 34, she's 31, and we still have that conversation of like, you
Same.
always think you're my mom. Like, why? You don't have to. She's so annoyed.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
I feel your younger sister. Do you have an emotional support snack that you need on film set?
Oh my God.
What is it?
I have a problem. I don't have any addictions, okay?
Okay.
I feel like I'm a pretty like,
That's good for you.
a
In
pretty
Hollywood.
like normal person.
Okay.
I have an issue with like chips,
Mm.
specifically flaming hot Cheetos.
Yes.
I
So good.
have them brought to every movie set and I can eat a bag every day. And it's an issue.
Did you watch the like origin story movie about Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Yes.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. If you got to cast a telenovela version of your life,
Ooh.
who plays you? Who plays your rival? Who plays your like Who plays the rest of your family? Do you have like cast your family in a telenovela?
Oh my God.
I think it would be really fun.
Let me think. Who could play me?
I know. That's an interesting one.
I think my baby sister could probably play me.
Cute.
Yeah.
Is she
That would
an
be
actress?
super weird. Yeah, she's an actress. My 2 youngest sisters are actresses too.
love
And
that
they live
they're-
in New York. They're like, living their New York lives and like auditioning and doing theater stuff and stuff like that. But I think my youngest sister would probably be able to play me. And then I don't know that I have a rival, but like I'll make one up.
Yeah.
Like Kiki Palmer.
Oh, yes.
Play my rival just because
Okay,
I
I
feel
like
like
that.
she's funny.
Love interest
Love interest.
that has amnesia and has fallen from a plane.
I mean, I'm trying to think like now my baby sister's age.
Like who plays Paco?
Well, it would have to be like a Mexican actor.
Yeah, so who is it? Not that I maybe I know them, maybe I don't know them.
I'm trying to think like maybe Xolo Maridueña. You know who that is? I feel like
Oh,
he
that's
could.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like blank. I'm like right now like blanking on
You can
like
think
Latino
about it and get back
actors.
to me,
Yeah.
in a couple days.
Yeah.
We kind of went over this, but what's a superstition you 100% believe in? Obviously exorcism stuff, but
A superstition.
yeah. Like, do you knock on wood?
I do knock on wood.
Yeah.
I do knock on wood.
Mm-hmm. I do this.
And I also make sure that it's real wood. And
Oh.
if it's not, I'm like, where can I?
I don't even know if that's
bamboo,
real
like,
wood.
That counts. This is wood. There we go. You will never see me walking underneath a ladder.
Oh, really?
Never. And if I do, I freak out and
Yeah.
I walk backward. Like
Oh, is
But
that a
I-
thing too?
yeah,
Walking
but
backwards?
I mean, I think maybe I made it up, but it just feels like
Feels right.
let me just walk it back. Pretend it didn't
I
happen.
love that. What's something about fame that still weirds you out?
Interactions with fans that can get a little bit like intense. And I've had like a few instances where like fans get like super like territorial and like,
Oh,
and then they, want more of
Oh,
you.
yes.
And it's hard because you do want to be like nice and you want to have these
course.
interactions, but then where do you draw the line?
boundaries.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm like chaperone. Is the
Yeah.
goat because
Oh.
she like understood it so quickly and she was like, actually, don't
Like,
talk
no.
to me.
Yeah. And she was like, don't use my real name.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Do people ever come up to you and like talk to you like you're a character? Like,
Never.
No, really?
No.
Okay, that's nice.
No, never.
I know people who are actors who have said that like people will come up to them and like call them by their character name.
I mean, I've been called by character
Okay.
names, but I think in the subsequent interaction, I don't feel like they're talking
Yeah.
to the character.
Okay,
That would be
that's
super weird. No, that's
People
never
are
happened to
weird.
me. No, I for the most part have like really sweet, like very loving interactions with fans for the most part.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Can you do a telenovela gasp?
I
Like
don't-
the soap opera gasp?
I
Do you ever
mean,
have to do that on your show? Like,
I don't remember, but it's the what's really famous is like the hold. And then they zoom in to you and you're just like holding, like looking out. After a scene ends or whatever and then you're like and they just zoom in.
okay.
I don't know that I ever
You're like,
I don't know that a gasp would ever be the thing. What's really funny about telenovelas are the names
okay.
and the fact that everybody calls everybody by like their full name
Oh, okay.
or like the two
What
names
was your
or three
full
names.
character's name? Do
I
you
actually
remember?
didn't have an interesting
Oh.
one. I mean, mine was actually very interesting, but it wasn't a long one. You know
Oh.
how like sometimes
Yes.
telenovela names are like really long?
Yeah.
My like telenovela name was Olvido Perez. Olvido. Olvido literally means it's very funny. Olvido, I don't know that there's a
Translation?
a direct translation, but basically it means to forget or something like that, So that was the name of my character, like the
And then
forgotten
you were in love
one,
with
basically.
someone who forgot you?
Yes,
Oh.
I know. It's like very on the nose.
Yeah, I
right?
love that. What's a piece of advice from an ancestor that you think guides you?
I remember my grandfather, my mom's dad, who I spent a lot of time with in my childhood. He like basically taught me to drive. He took me to buy like my first pair of heels, which I still remember. It was like basically like an exaggerated version of my boots. You know, when like the really like platform, like really high sock, like kind of like lycra shoes were in. That was like my first pair of
I
heels.
had those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took me to get them.
They were like duck shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. And like you could break your ankle. But anyway, he always used to tell me that everything has a solution except for death.
Well, that's really interesting. What did that make you feel? Like
Like,
what do you take from that?
yeah, like, you know, whenever I feel like, oh my God, like this is terrible, like my life is over, I'm like, oh, I'm not dead. I can solve this. There's a way out of this. So
that feels like a lot of your personality is like that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
If your inner child picked your next role, what would they pick?
A musical.
Yeah.
Some sort of musical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Musical for life.
Yeah.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Probably some Adele. Probably like Someone Like You or Rolling in the Deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And I'm not a huge karaoke person though.
Okay.
I think singers shouldn't sing at karaoke.
Oh. Do you think it's like unfair?
I think it's annoying. You know, whenever I'm like at a karaoke and there's someone that goes on that like really wants to show off and you can tell that they're really good, I'm like, this is annoying. I want someone that like doesn't sing to go and that we cheer them on and everybody's like, yeah, you know, I think that's what it's for.
So do you not sing at karaoke?
I try not to.
Oh, actually, you're right. It kind of pisses me off when I go up there and I'm like off key. Yeah. Like I am tone deaf.
That's what's fun.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh.
I think that's
is
what
it?
Yeah, I think that's
like
what
you really want to hear me sing?
I think unless like if you're really bad, if you're like really, really bad and you are like trying to like sing like a really like deep ballad and you think you're very good, I feel like maybe that can be a little bit like, but I think when people are just going up there and having fun.
Yeah.
That's when it's fun. And I think that's what karaoke is meant to be. And I don't really like, unless I'm like pushed to do it. Yeah. I enjoy watching and like, you know, clapping for people and like singing the chorus from like my table with my drink.
You're like, this is entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not like being on a TV show.
Yeah.
What's a fear you're trying to outgrow?
Not achieving what I want to achieve in life. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's something that I'm constantly working through because I have all these like big plans. And as you grow older, you're like, is it maybe that I won't get to do them? And it's this, you know, this dialogue of like, you know, I'm still young, so I still could do them. But what if I don't?
I feel that.
Would that mean that I'm a failure? Yeah. And then you go into these like, you know, dark thoughts of like, am I going to fail? Like, am I going to be unhappy? Am I only going to be happy if I do those things that I want to do? What if I don't?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's expectations.
Yeah.
Is the thing that I try. My mom always tells me, expectations are a recipe for heartbreak. Oh. If you have expectations about something.
Yeah.
What are the chances that life is gonna, what are the chances that life is gonna like meet your expectations? Yeah. It's better to like not have them and allow yourself to be surprised and excited about like what you find, what does happen.
You seem like a planner. So is that hard for you?
It is very hard for me. It is very hard, but it is something that like, I feel like maybe that's my test in this life. That and patience.
That's deep.
I think about life kind of like a video game. Oh. I feel like kind of like I have, you know, how you have to go through
the next
levels. There's like a key to a door that I'm like trying to find. Yeah. And there's a like very deep, wise part of me that tells me, because I'm a very impatient person, that it's patience. that I came to this life to learn patience.
Wow.
And so that, I try.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So the last thing we'll do is you took a seed out.
Yeah.
You have to put a seed in. That's what the paper is for. I mean, you have so many little nuggets of wisdom from your family, but you can ask people to do something. You can, put an activity. It can be an affirmation. It could be a question. It can be whatever you want.
And do I tell you now?
Yeah, you read it out loud. Yeah,
Okay.
let us know. Because then it's like the excitement. I can't wait to see what you write and then who gets yours.
Yeah. I feel like I want to write a question.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We also have kanafe.
What's that?
Can you eat it?
Yeah.
You're not allergic to anything?
No, I'm not allergic to anything.
Kanafe is a Palestinian dessert.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I'm so excited.
It's a little
It's
kanafe
pistachios?
Yes.
Love
Can you eat all of
pistachios.
that? Okay, good.
Yes.
I'm
What
like,
else?
can you eat it? Can you eat it? I get worried.
Yeah, I can eat everything.
Okay,
I'm not
good.
allergic to anything.
Okay,
so.
good. Do you want to have people do something or do you want to inspire them?
I want to inspire them and I want to make them think.
Ooh. I'm like, do you want to make them cry?
No, although maybe. I like making people cry.
Me too.
But like happy tears.
Yeah.
Not mean tears.
No. It would be really messed up if you were like, I want to make people mean cry.
I want to write what turning point in your life, because it's something kind of like what happened to me. And I just feel like it's so meaningful when you have something that happens in your life that kind of jolts you awake and makes you understand your
did you
purpose.
did you have a lift the veil moment?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or what? Yeah. What? Oh, let me see. See,
You can do multiple tries if you want to go through it.
I don't know if this is a.
You're like, turn over.
Wait, what did I put? I put a question mark on it.
Is
It's
it not
a question?
So make it into an exclamation mark.
I'll put it a little. I'll make it into a.
And then sign it
Okay.
if you can in a little bit so that people know who they got it from. I mean, I'll be able to tell them because I'm going to be like, it's the longest one.
Yeah. Okay. So my prompt is, tell us a turning point in your life that centered you in who you are or why you came to Earth.
Oh, shit.
Super deep.
Oh, that is really deep. What is your purpose on Earth is what you ask people? I love that.
But sometimes you're sometimes it dawns on you oh, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. And yours is patience.
But also I feel like my purpose is to connect people. I feel like that's actually what it is. And because I do it as an actor too, I want people to connect. And I find that, I've been doing conventions a lot in the last year, horror conventions.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans are we became friends because we're your fans and we connected and now we're here and we just met and
and we're in
we love each other,
and
and I just love that. I love connecting people. I feel like I always do that in life. I go home and whenever I'm home, I get all my neighbors together and we all go out and I like bringing people together. And whether that's actually or making someone feel like they're not alone in feeling a certain way because of something I said or because of a role or something, I like that. I feel like that's my purpose.
I think you're doing it. You're accomplishing it. Your purpose is done.
Okay. I have a feeling that that when someone reads this, they'll be like, what the fuck? So you're going to have to explain what I mean, okay? Because I might not have worded it in the best way.
No, you did. I thought it was amazing. It's your wording. Yeah.
Okay.
Fold it on up, put it, and then you can just lift the top and drop it in there and we'll see who gets it. I know. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to fold it into a little heart.
Oh, stop.
Wait, if I can. I don't know that I can.
Okay, that is overachieving. That's amazing.
I told you I am. Look at that.
Oh, little heart.
Cute.
Oh my God. Well, when they open it, I'm going to be like, did you notice that it was a heart?
Yeah, look at that.
Melissa made it hard for you.
Look.
Oh my God, it's so cute.
Cute.
You're adorable. I would have never thought to do that. Now I'm going to feel like everyone's underachieving if they don't make their seeds into a heart.
Look, it's a little heart.
It's really cute. Yeah, just lift it up.
Oh.
I don't think it's locked. Yeah. Yay!
I'm so excited. Wait. It's gonna. No one's ever gonna get it. I need it to go down. I'll shake it. I'll shake it when we're done.
Thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
Me too.
This has been fun. You're awesome.
Wait, I didn't have this. Let me try it.
Yeah, eat the knafe. I'm like trying to force you out. No, I'm just kidding. I want you to have it. I'm gonna.
What, it's coconut.
No, it's
not?
that's phyllo and it's cheese.
Oh, is it salty?
No, it's sweet.
Oh, wait. Okay.
It has like, sugar water basically on it.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Let me get some of the.
It's
pistachios
salty
on
and
it.
sweet and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited to see what your next adventure is. Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wild Woman.
Yeah, Wild Woman.
Can you believe it? Wait, is there only one of these in the whole deck?
No, yeah.
No way.
Look.
What are the
What are the
chances?
odds? I know. It's telling us that we're connected somehow. Connection. You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're living your purpose.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.